We got some breaking news actually coming in. Rohith Vemula's death by suicide in January 2016. Remember, that had triggered nationwide protests over alleged discrimination against him in university and other Dalits in universities. Now, in a closure report submitted to the Telangana High Court, the state police has said that Rohith was actually not a Dalit and that he died or killed himself because he was afraid of his real caste identity coming out. My colleague Swastika Das is joining us. Swastika, this was a very contentious case, but the findings or the conclusion report is going to be a complete departure from what the politics on the case was.
It is a complete departure from what transpired back in 2016. This particular case, which triggered nationwide outrage against then HRD Minister Smriti Irani, Bandaru Dattatreya, Appa Rao, who was then VC of HCU. What the Hyderabad Telangana Police rather has put in its report is that they have found no evidence with the fact that Rohith Vemula died by suicide because of being a Dalit and was being targeted upon that. And the bigger fact than that is that the report clearly mentions Rohith Vemula was not a Dalit and that he was a converted Dalit, meaning his mother claimed that she hailed from the Dalit community, a Mala community, but she was married to a person who hailed from the OBC community. And therefore, they allegedly forged documents to show that Rohith Vemula was a Dalit. This definitely is a damning report. Rohith Vemula's family in various media interviews have told that they don't accept it. They say this is an atrocious report by the Telangana government, and in all likelihood, they're also likely to meet the Chief Minister of Telangana, Revanth Reddy. They've called this report as a forged report by the Telangana Police, but the closure report in itself, which has been filed before the court, says otherwise. It clearly says that Rohith Vemula was not a Dalit, and therefore the suicide that triggered nationwide protests was not because of the fact that he was a Dalit, that he was targeted for being a Dalit. The biggest point after this is the fact that the report clearly mentions Rohith Vemula was allegedly afraid of revealing his caste status, and therefore to avoid any kind of backlash, he died by suicide. There are other reasons that have also been investigated upon, but it clearly says he was not targeted because he is not from Dalit community.
No, this is going to be extremely important, not just because of the kind of protests and allegations that swirled around at that time, but we are in election season. And, you're going to have elections in states like Andhra and Telangana soon. But I just want to ask you, Swastika, what are the initial reactions you're getting after this closure report has been filed?
Well, the BJP leader spoke to Ramchandra Rao, who was also named as an accused initially, says that this comes as the fact that truth has prevailed. You've seen Amit Malviya also tweet the same. And this is a big victory in the sense for the BJP, because back in 2016, when Smriti Irani was the HRD minister, she faced a lot of backlash. Bandaru Dattatreya, who was the Secunderabad MP, was also came under fire. In fact, you had Rahul Gandhi, Arvind Kejriwal, all the leaders from the opposition come down to Hyderabad Central University, and it was a story that created ripples across the country. The narrative that Rohith Vemula was in fact attacked, targeted, and selectively picked because he was Dalit, which forced him allegedly to die by suicide, is something that now stands completely nullified by this report, which clearly says that they are closing the case on the grounds that there is no evidence, and the biggest factor in that is the fact that Rohith Vemula was allegedly not a Dalit, and that his family forged documents to show that he was from a Dalit community.
Okay, Swastika, I want you to just stay with me, because this is a sensational closure report that has been filed on what was a sensational case at the time. If you remember, this rocked Parliament for many, many days. The HRD minister at that time, Smriti Irani, was put in the dock and was personally blamed for the death of Rohith Vemula. I have Ajay Alok, national spokesperson of the BJP, actually joining us. Ajay Alok, I do thank you for joining us on short notice. Again, your first response on this massive closure report that has been filed. It puts everyone in the clear, but more importantly, it brings out facets that may be a little bit ugly, but as per the closure report, the reasons for the suicide were completely different.
No, of course, we have all the sympathy for Rohith Vemula because he was a young, promising guy, and any youngster committing suicide is not good for the country. That we firmly believe. And yes, Parliament was rocked, like what you said, but it was rocked by on whose behest? It was again this Jhutha Gandhi, this Rahul Gandhi, Ranchod Gandhi. He made all these things happen. He made an issue out of nothing. And today in Telangana, when Telangana Police have filed this closure report, we don't have the government there. Earlier also we were not in the part of the government. It was KCR's government. So we are nowhere connected there. Justice has prevailed and truth has prevailed. And it has been proved that these people always create false narrative and they thrive on it. That they did 5-7 years back, today also they are doing the same thing. Their habits do not change. They are of the same metal and they have the same thing. And even at the cost of a suicide of a young boy, they can create politics. My heart goes out to Rohith Vemula and his family for what he has done. It doesn't matter anymore that whether he was a Dalit, he was not a Dalit. That's not a question altogether. The question is, youngster of this country committing a suicide is a blot to the nation. That you have to understand if you are sensitive and human enough. But these people are absolutely insensitive, inhuman, and they want to make politics out of everything. The parliament was rocked, Smriti Irani was blamed, every nonsense thing in the book was presented in front of the country. Look, this is happening with scheduled caste. Look, this is happening with scheduled tribe in the country. Look, constitution is not safe. What not? All ruckus was done, if you remember, and people of this country can remember. But nobody said a single sympathetic said about Rohith Vemula, that why he committed suicide and what we need to do as the central government or in the people sitting in the state government, what needs to be done that these suicide can be prevented. No worries about that.
Right.
If anybody thinks about that in that case, I again say it was Prime Minister Modi that he took multiple initiative steps that these things do not happen. How you can interact with students. But the insensitive people do not think sensitively because they don't have heart. And today also everything they do is just out of politics, just how to get into the power, just how to blame Narendra Modi, the single point agenda. Nothing else, nothing in the national interest.
Right. Swastika, I just want to, Ajay Alok, just stay with me. I just want to go across to Swastika to just break down the big findings of this closure report. The closure report is saying that Vemula was not from the Dalit community, he was not from Scheduled Caste, that his certificate was actually forged, and that he knew that this could come out, and therefore fearing backlash is why Rohith Vemula committed suicide. At least it's confirming that he did commit suicide. But the politics on this case at that time was that Rohith Vemula was harassed for his caste identity, and that is why he committed suicide. But that's not the case. So much water has flown under the bridge, but now some sort of closure possibly for the family and others involved as well, because a lot of people were singed by this case in the university. Telangana Police is actually the one that is filing this case. You know, so this is one of those classic examples, Ajay Alok, of identity politics. And if we were to juxtaposition this to what is happening right now, you see a lot of identity politics being played on the name of the Dalits, the OBCs, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, etc. But this is the danger where you rush to conclusions before investigations are concluded in sensitive cases, because it completely takes away the narrative, the politics of it all.
You are absolutely right, Shivani, because people here, they are not concerned about the case and the cause. People are rather more concerned about how they create narrative, how they set a false narrative. Like what has been done today, and they think people of this country are fool. Not anymore. This is the era of social media, this is the era of electronic media where people are so much aware, even at the block level, even at the village level, that they understand now. Now what happened in Karnataka? I mean, OBC reservation being given to the Muslims. Now everyone in this country knows that yes, this has happened in Karnataka, they have tried it in Andhra, they have done it in Kerala. Now people of this country are gradually understanding the narrative. This is the fast moving information world. You cannot play with fire, and that they have been doing because they are habituated of doing it. And they don't consider that in this fire, the country burns or anyone burns. They don't care. They only think, the Congress and this India only thinks how my politics should survive, how I should be at the seat of the power. And today see the irony, it's the Congress government who's filing this report. Because
Okay.
it could be a possibility that this report might not have gone to the Chief Minister. Otherwise, this report would have been shelved. And there could be a possibility again that this report may be again called for review.
Okay, 1 second. Ajay, look, I want to go across
Because this
to...
is going to be a backlash for them.
Yeah, certainly this is going to be an embarrassment for the kind of sweeping statements that were made on the back of this very tragic case. Ramchandra Rao, the Telangana BJP MLC, whose name was actually in the Rohith Vemula report, is also joining us. Ramchandra Rao, your first response, former MLC, what is your response on this closure report?
I feel the police has investigated as per the material available to them, as per the information available to them, and the closure was inevitable. There is nothing new, nothing surprising, because this case has to end up with a closure, because there was no truth in it.
Right. Can you just describe to me, Ramchandra Rao, what you personally had to go through because of this case, and does it feel like a vindication to you today?
Definitely. There was no case at all. They made a mountain out of mole. In fact, the issue was that in the case, it is a very unfortunate incident where a bright student committed suicide, and instead of showing the sympathy and understanding and try to understand what led to the suicide, they are trying to politicize it. In Maoist groups, in the urban Naxals, and all these guys, they including the Congress party, they politicized it to the very high dimension, which it was not supposed to do so. They have lied about the caste of the victim and all those things. And definitely it was a mental agony for us, because we were never involved in it. We had no role in it, in fact. And they wanted to make a political advantage out of these issues. So I think definitely we had undergone definitely a mental agony, because the boy died for some reason, and they tried to blame us for that. And we still have the sympathy for the boy and his family, but we definitely feel that they are being misused. They are being used as a political weapon to attack the Bharatiya Janata Party.
But why? Why was the case twisted so much, according to you, to attack the BJP and completely hijack what could have been the ground reality? Why?
Only to see that they blame the BJP government at the center, the HRD ministry at the center, and they saw some political exploitation in it, and they tried to exploit, and they succeeded to some extent exploiting that it was a caste-oriented issue. In fact, it was not at all a caste-oriented issue. We have been maintaining that. We always maintained that we have no role in it. But including Rahul Gandhi, including Kejriwal, they all visited the Osmania University, the Central University campus. Was it necessary for it? Without knowing what the boy has undergone, without knowing his social status, without knowing the real incident, what is the reason, why these people came to the university to political exploit. In fact, they tried to use the university to target the Bharatiya Janata Party government. They tried to use this incident to ideologically attack us. So therefore, I think it was an act of the urban Naxals and the Congress party and the leftist people to defame the Bharatiya Janata Party government at the center.
Okay, Ramchandra Rao, I do appreciate you joining us. The former BJP MLC from Telangana, whose name was there as far as this case was concerned. My colleague Swastika Das is also joining us. Swastika, just for the benefit of the viewers joining us now, break down what are the big findings of this closure report.
Well, Shivani, there are three big findings. One, the Telangana Police has filed a closure report, meaning they're permanently closing Rohith Vemula's case because of lack of evidence. Now, what is the lack of evidence? The report itself claims that Rohith Vemula was not a Dalit. He was a converted Dalit. The fact is that Rohith Vemula's mother claimed, Radhika Vemula claimed, that she hailed from the Mala community. Mala is a Dalit community, but he was married to somebody who hailed from a different community, from an OBC community. This was clearly stated in the report, with the fact that there is a possibility that Rohith Vemula, fearing that his actual caste status may get exposed, the fact that he was not a Dalit, fearing that he may have taken extreme steps. The report does not explicitly say that Rohith Vemula died by suicide because he feared of getting exposed as he was not a Dalit. But it says it could be other reasons as well. But
Okay.
why is this point particularly important? Because on this point itself, there were national-wide protests. Back in 2016, when this case came to the fore, it rocked the parliament, and then HRD Minister Smriti Irani herself went to the floor of the House to also claim that while her sympathies stand with Rohith Vemula and her family, it has not been ascertained whether Rohith Vemula was driven to suicide because of his caste status. Today, in 2024, the Telangana Police has clearly mentioned in the report that Rohith Vemula was not a Dalit, and therefore it has absolved all the other accused, including including Bandaru Dattatreya, who was then Sikidrabad MP, MLC, former MLC of BJP, Ramchandar Rao, Smriti Irani, as well as former Vice Chancellor of Hyderabad Central University, Appa Rao.
Okay. And is it correct, Swastika, that some of these left-aligned bodies, student bodies, are all set to protest this closure report?
That's right. In fact, following this particular report, which has in fact rocked headlines, the SFI and other organizations in the Hyderabad Central University campus have called for a protest. Parallelly, CNN News 18 has been constantly trying to reach out to the family members of Rohith Vemula, but we have not been able to establish that connection. But we have learned through our sources that Rohith Vemula's family is also intending to meet the Chief Minister of Telangana, Revant Reddy, who is currently on a campaign trail. Besides the fact that HQ again is going to be a center of focus at the moment, police deployment is being done as we speak to avoid any kind of untoward incident. And remember, we are just few days away from election, so they don't want any kind of hassle that will threaten law and order situation. And the university itself, we are given to understand, has not given permission to the students to protest.
Right, right. I also want to go across to Khaliqur Rahman of the Congress party, who's joining us. Mr. Rahman, this is going to be extremely, deeply embarrassing, but, you know, just deeply problematic for the Congress party. Rahul Gandhi was the one who actually led this entire agitation as the Congress face in Parliament outside on this Rohith Vemula case. And look what the findings are saying now. Did the Congress jump the gun deliberately on this?
No. See, the entire investigation was done during the previous government, and based on that, this report would have been filed. But in any case, because we are with the Rohith Vemula family, and we will approach the higher judicial authority, and we will again reopen the case. We will have it reinvestigated, and we will get the justice. And as for Rahul Gandhi's commitment is there, we are committed, in fact, to get the justice. And as I said, this investigation was done by the previous government. And now with all the...
Are you calling the report false or wrong?
We have to get it reinvestigated, definitely.
Okay, so you're saying the new Congress government in Telangana will get this reinvestigated?
Yes, absolutely. And we'll get the truth out.
But the previous government was also not a BJP government.
The previous government was the BRS government. BRS government was nothing but the BJP government. It was the B team of the BJP. So the previous government has worked at the behest of the BJP there, at the behest of the top bosses sitting in Delhi.
All right. So looks like it's not the final word. It's the last has not been spoken on this entire case. But certainly the memories of the Rohith Vemula case are not very nice for anyone concerned. We have to leave it at that. I do thank all of our guests for joining us.